I'm very honored right now to present our former student, OPRF student, Jordan, who has lived through the very issues our speakers have described. Welcome back to OPRF, Jordan, and thank you for sharing your story.
Hello. Hi, I'm Jordan. I used to go to the school here. I'm apparently an expert on substance abuse in teens. I don't have any statistics for you, and I'm not as articulate, but if I don't swear, I think we'll be good. I moved here from Chicago in like 7th grade. I can't tell you what year that was, but I came to this school in 2003. And when I got to Emerson, it was called then, the kids there, the cool kids smoked weed there, and they drank, and they sold weed during school in 7th and 8th grade. Oh, and by the way, before I start, I might tell you some things that disgust you or surprise you or you think are kind of BS. But this is just the truth, and I mean, I'm one of these statistics kids. I'm not anymore, by the way, so please don't judge me. But I'll just go through it. And you could, I mean, let's see, in 7th and 8th grade, I knew kids that showed up to school high. I knew a girl who OD'd on Coracetin and fell down the stairs. Kids got sent to rehab in 8th grade, sold weed at school, and I believed ditched classes to get liquor from their locker. And I still thought that that was pretty cool. And you know, kids here probably think that that was pretty cool. And then I graduated sort of, like I almost passed my classes and I got to high school, and I didn't do the summer school thing because I had a lot more important stuff to do before I got to high school, like party all summer. And but by the time I got here, I switched friends a lot. I knew when I got here I was friends with well, they're not even like really successful in comparison, but they were the most successful people I was friends with when I got here. And these people were in sports and activities and like members of councils and such, and I wasn't. And right when I got into the school, I mean, you could buy weed at school. You could, of course, buy it in the alley, which is where people smoke cigarettes because it's like only a block away from the school and really stupid, but that's what you do. And you could, which you can't do anymore, but there's like that Ridgeland Hill, and people would sell drugs up there, and I thought it was great. And I just started off like as a regular kid, the ones in the statistic that only smoke weed a little bit and only do it on the weekends. And within the course of my freshman year to my junior year, it got extremely different. I used drugs every day. I used them at school. I smoked, let's see, out of the drugs that I use, oh, marijuana, you guys don't say weed. I did marijuana, I did alcohol, I did ecstasy, mushrooms, any really kind of prescription that you carry in your pantry, by the way. Your friends are probably stealing from you, because I did all of those. And cocaine, and heroin, and crack, and I did all of those at the high school. There isn't any single drug that I didn't use that I didn't use here. I used drugs in class. I used drugs in the bathroom. I knew kids that smoked weed during study hall in their like sweaters, which I thought was silly because why wouldn't you just ditch? And that was it. And I could get any of these I could get anybody to deliver any of those drugs to the high school. And I didn't like go out to the city and go to these other parties and find these drugs. I met all of these people in Oak Park. And actually, during the open campus, which I totally appreciated to my advantage, we would go down to an apartment building across the street from the Oak Park Library that is a crack house, and it still is. That's the one with the red telephone booth. Everybody thinks it's like really nice. Yeah, they're just crackheads there. And a couple of meth heads are there too. If you ever see your kids there, I would definitely send them to rehab. And there was no, I mean, we did open campus. I think I got caught for weed at the school once, I definitely, if I was ever in a car, somebody was drinking, I drove the like, I don't remember what that is, but for driver's ed, where you like drive a car. No, it's not the simulator, it's the one where you, yeah, in car, where you actually drive a car. I showed up on St. Patrick's Day drunk, and I drove that car, and Mr. Montagno was not too appreciative of me being giggly, but I got in no trouble from that. I threw up drunk in a Dean of Discipline's office and told him it wasn't there and that I had the stomach flu. I didn't get in trouble for that. I brought all kinds of drugs to the school. I did them all here. And it's not, even the heroin was the kids that got scholarships used with me, kids that were part of your, by the way, the president of your student council when I was here, he had his friend show up to replace him numerous times, drunk and on heroin, and nobody knew. And they were talking about drug issues, which I thought was hilarious. But there was really, you could get anything and you could do anything, and I did it all. And the good parts about the school, because I could tell you every which way I got around things, but there's a lot of students here. And I don't think this is like a tips on how to get away with stuff. But as far as the good stuff goes, my dean of discipline, my dean held drug interventions for me at the school with my parents. Margot Bristow sent me to a bunch of places, and that worked. As far as what they could do was done. I was never searched, but it wasn't. I didn't do drugs because of the high school. I did drugs because I wanted to, and it was just easy to here. And I didn't get away with everything. I've gotten arrested, and I didn't graduate, even though I got sober my senior year. You just can't graduate when you come in with freshman credits that year. But kind of impossible. But the school knew, and they did as much as they could. And I can't tell you what can be done or what can't be done or what you guys are doing wrong. I have no idea. I'm just here to tell you that it's here and it's everywhere. And I've been clean for 3 years, and I guarantee you, if you... I don't care if you're students of valedictorian. If you gave me their cell phone, I could get you anything in 20 minutes. People will give it to you if you have money, and they'll steal it from you. I stole tons of money, so it's easy to get, it's easy to do, and it's really easy to get away with, for the most part. So, I didn't get expelled, and I use heroin at the school, so your kids that are smoking weed are pretty much fine, like as far as getting kicked out goes. So that's a huge issue, I guess, in my opinion. So I don't know, with that, I'm gonna finish.